So, hi everybody. I am Natalie, master stylist and founder of North Authentic. And today I'm going to be talking with Valerie Ortega, who is amazing. Hi, Valerie. And we're going to be doing kind of like a Q&A hair consultation and going over just a bunch of different things with our hair products and also just questions she may have about her hairstyling regimen. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm so excited. So we already chatted once without recording it. So we decided we really wanted to do this and like dig deeper and record it this time. That way we can share this information with all of your followers, because I'm sure a lot of this stuff will resonate with them too. So so far you took the quiz on North Authentic, shopnorthauthentic.com, and you did get your products, you said, and you've used them once. So where, I guess I'll have you start with whatever questions you have, and we can go over, what made you decide to choose these products and all that kind of jazz. So go for it, Valerie.
Of course. Okay, well, your quiz was amazing. I feel like I answered about 10 questions, and I got the perfect products for my hair type. I have really frizzy, dry hair, and I feel like these products, I've only used them once, but I feel like they are life-changing.
Oh my God, I'm so happy. I love it.
I feel like after my first shower, my hair usually feels like there's still stuff on it.
Right.
And you talked about that last time, where like there's stuff in your shampoos, because I was using products that, to be honest, I had no idea what's inside them. I just thought, I've heard of this brand, or they're on the shelf at Ulta. And so you giving me all the information on like, you need to have clean products, you need to know what's in your products, and you guys doing all of the testing and actually knowing what's exactly in these products is so beneficial. And I could tell a difference right away. Like I said, when I got in the shower, I used to feel, even when I put on like my leave-in conditioner throughout the day after styling it, it felt like my hair was heavy, like there was something on it. But with these products, that was not the case. My hair felt so light, and it wasn't like dry, it wasn't frizzy. It felt like I was putting the products on it and it was making it silky without feeling heavy. And like I said, I haven't washed my hair in 5 days and it still feels the same.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
I have been using that powder every day, the like dry shampoo, but it's powder form.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed. You said
so you have the Away Plant and Mineral Refresh, right? The little brown bottle.
It's
a game changer. It's so funny you say that, because whenever I talk to people who have used our products for the first time, and of course our products are, 14 plus brands, like, North Authentic, even though we don't have our own product line yet, we probably will. We'll definitely be in the future. But right now we're kind of we collect all the cleanest brands from around the world, and then we use them, we vet them, we test them, and then we give you a hair care regimen based off of your hair type, your texture, like concerns you have, like your frizz and dryness, what you're trying to achieve as far as like, I love to curl my hair every day. Like, that's how I like to style it. Or I want to blow it out smooth every day. So then we give you styling products to achieve that goal. So we kind of put together all of our faves for whatever you're dealing with and whatever you want to achieve. And so it's multiple brands when you get, a box from North Authentic. But the number one thing when I ask people, like, how does your hair feel like after the first time you use it? They all like, it feels really clean. They're like, my hair looks amazing, but it feels clean. They're like, and so it's what you're saying, like, there's no residue. Yeah, you feel it clean. You're like, there's no,
right. And then I get out of the shower and I'm like, wait, my hair feels so light. Like, I don't know how to explain it, because usually when I feel like my hair gets dry or it feels that light, it's because it's like I didn't put anything in it and it's frizzy and it's just big. But with this, after putting everything in it, it still felt light and airy and, like you said, like clean. And I was like, wait, this is what it's supposed to feel like. I've been doing it wrong for so long.
No, the world has. It's like, it's so great that we're becoming more aware now. I tell people the Industrial Revolution of the 70s, people started to realize, or companies started to realize, like, ooh, this chemical made in a plant can kind of deliver the same results as this expensive essential oil over here, this expensive argan oil. I got to go to like Morocco into the desert to find it, right? So it's like, oh, I can just make this thing in a plant, like, in the US, and it's way cheaper. And so, oh my God, the way you make more money whenever you're selling any kind of a product is you don't raise the price, because then you're going to, eliminate people from buying it. You lower your cost. So they find cheaper ways to make products. And toxic chemicals, a lot of them create an effect that people may like. I mean, obviously, I mean, look at, we have, you know, the Brazilian blowout that came out for a while, and it's like, you know, I hate to call out brands, but there was so much formaldehyde in that product, and it's so bad for you. But did it kill your you know, your cuticle and lay it down so flat? It like smashed it down, so you're like, my hair's so silky. But you realize it's like, yeah, there's so much crap on your hair, that's why it's like toxic.
Exactly.
But you're like, oh yay, it looks so pretty, right? So the toxic chemicals do muscle things into happening, but you can still get the same results and not put your health in jeopardy, and not like, you know, manhandle your hair into compliance. You can get these things by, I always say, like, treat your hair just like you treat your body, with love, like it's your newborn baby, and you want to just care for it and make it grow up to be nice and strong. And I think we forget that about our body. You know, this is like our vessel, right? That carries us through this life. So it's like, let's treat it good. So yeah, so I was saying, in industrial evolution, all these, you know, chemicals are now in all these products, and we didn't know. We were just kind of like, ooh, this is going to make our hair do this and that. And now people, you know, I feel like it's just been this awakening, right? In the last like 5 or 6 years, there's been people talking about clean products way longer than that, but it was kind of harder to find those people. And now it's becoming, you know, it's awareness is happening all over the place. And so you are the majority. People not knowing, like, oh my God, I had no idea all this crap was in my beauty products, and I thought I was doing my hair right. And it, you know, and I always say to people, like, you don't know how it looks when it's really healthy and clean when you've never had it that way. Like, you thought it looked really healthy and clean before, and it felt really healthy and clean because that's all you ever knew. Right. And now that you're like, oh my God, I've been introduced to this whole other world, you're like, oh my God, I'm on it. Right. So our goal working together is that we explain to everybody, you know, that should be our goal, is to, like, you know, make our hair look beautiful and healthy, but do it in a way that's safe, that's healthy for us, for our bodies. So.
Totally. And like, I feel like you say last meeting, I was just so shocked by how I almost feel like careless I have been with my hair. You know, because I take
hard on
so
yourself.
I no, but like, I do so much
like
research. Yeah, but I do so much research and, like, you know, what I'm eating or what I'm putting on my face. You know, like, when I'm looking for beauty products, I want them to be clean. I want to make sure, you know, they work, all this stuff. But with my hair, I feel like, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna get the shampoo because it's kind of expensive and it probably makes my hair feel silky. You know, I didn't even think to, like, what's in it. It's penetrating my scalp. Like, when you started talking about how, like, it penetrates your scalp and goes into your body, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Like, I'm actually putting this on my head into my scalp and I have no idea what's in it. And then I look and it's like sulfate. Like,
oh no, really? When you started looking, oh shoot.
Yes,
oh shoot.
Oh my goodness, of course, you know. So, and I think a company like this is so beneficial to people like me who have no idea and who think they knew, but they didn't. And you guys give us a whole hair care regimen. All I did was answer a few questions, and it's all done for me, and it's all clean, and my hair is benefiting from it. It's amazing.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear it.
I feel like I'm so late to the game, but I'm finally, I made it.
No, you are not. You're a baby. You're starting perfectly, because even, you know, I'm going to back up to what you just said, because we should cover that in this so people know what we're talking about with the scalp being like a sponge. Yeah. But also, you know, I try to tell people too, another topic, I'm going to be doing a live with some like mommy companies, and we're going to be talking to moms, like new moms, because they just put out an article about all these toxic chemicals are being found in, like, breast milk and the umbilical cord of the baby that are in all of our beauty products. Yes. So
I don't even think about that.
Yeah. So it's like everything. So we'll back up to the scalp thing. So the clean beauty movement is awesome, and it's been going on for a while now, right? You hear about all these, like, clean beauty companies that are going on, you know, Goop and, you know, what is it? You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so everybody's, like, so focused on skincare and makeup, but they're like, oh, your hair, it's like not touching your skin, right? But you're like, no. The more I started to dig deep, your scalp is one of the most absorbent areas of skin on your body. It's more absorbent than your arms. So if like, we're like thinking, oh, I need to use a clean lotion, and then we're shampooing with something full of crap in it, right? It's like, what's the point? Go ahead and use whatever lotion you want, right? Yeah. So you don't think about it. And you're like, well, my hair's not touching, but I mean, my hair is laying on my skin all day, right? So the thing we said too about like eating healthy, like we're so trying to like be organic and, you know, not eat processed foods and do all these things. Well, when you eat something, it has to go through your digestive system, right? It has to go through like your liver and your kidneys. And we have all these things in place to kind of, you know, filter out all the junk before the good stuff goes into our body and the bad stuff goes out, right? Well, your skin doesn't have that. There's nothing between your skin and your bloodstream. But I mean, some stuff will filter out a little bit for sure, but what you're putting on your skin goes directly into your bloodstream within seconds, like seconds. So what you're putting on your hair, it's kind of the forgotten stepchild of the beauty industry when it comes to clean beauty. So because I'm so hair focused, you know, I'm a stylist. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing hair care regimens, and I call them prescriptions. I had a prescription pad for all my clients, and I would write them out like, here's what you're going to do, right? So I had that for them, and I saw such huge differences that to me, like that's a huge thing. It's just people need access to prescriptions. And then two, they don't know what they're putting on their body, and they don't know, like, you know, what that kind of can start to cause to your health, like havoc. Because I had so many clients suddenly starting to have like thyroid issues. Like there is a Hashimoto's epidemic in the United States. It's not anywhere else in the world. And it's like, why? What is going on? And women are more likely than men to have a lot of these thyroid issues and Hashimoto's. Well, we put like 30 products on our skin a day. If you get your guy to put lotion on one leg, like you're winning, right? Like guys don't really use that. I mean, guys are starting to more and more, you know, guys are doing a lot of self-care, but they still don't use as many beauty products as we do. When you think about just the eye cream, the face cream, the lip cream, the, you know, then the hair and the treatment and the, you know, and then the body lotion. And then the, you know, there's so many, your guy's not doing that much, right? Men aren't doing as much. So of course the numbers are higher among women. So that's the number one thing. Is just like your hair matters, guys. What you're putting on your hair really matters. So, and then the second thing is because it's going into your bloodstream, that's what I'm saying. It's good. You're starting young. You're not late to the game at all, because if you make those changes now, I mean, of course as moms, you should be already, before you're even having a baby, using clean products. And then when you have your babies, you should be using clean products on them, you know, but again, this is something we're all becoming aware of now. So people my age are having a lot of health issues, right? Like I have an autoimmune disease. I have Hashimoto's. Like a lot of my clients are having all these things, like early onset menopause, like a lot of these crazy things. But in young kids, it has early onset puberty and, you know, sterility in men and birth defects and just so many things that can happen when you're starting to use all these chemicals in your youth. So it's never too late to make a change and start trying to detox that stuff out of your blood, and then just make changes what you're putting on it in the future. So you're not late to the game. You're doing great. So I'm just so happy we found each other so you can start, using clean stuff.
So glad you guys came into my life, because I feel like it's so beneficial for me, my body, my hair, everything. I mean, I feel like I just want to throw away everything I had before and just like insert yours. I'm not even kidding. I was like, I don't even want to keep this anymore, just because it is scary to hear those kind of things. You know, what can happen to my body if I keep using sulfates and stuff that's going into my scalp? I mean, like I said, I didn't even think about that. Like, no, I don't think it ever crossed my mind like, oh, this is seeping into my scalp and could affect me. And I'm so glad that you have informed me on all of this, because now I'm aware. Now I'm going to look next time I buy, or next, it's like I'm going to make sure what I'm using is clean. Because we all should be using clean products.
100%. And it's really, it's hard. I know it's hard because, we all got used to finally reading labels at the grocery store, right? We're all like, okay, we all know that now. And, most of us do it. But you're like, now I got to read labels at, when I go buy makeup and guys. Right. That's why I'm like, we did it because I was like, okay, I know that we all have a million things going on in our lives, right? We're trying to build our business. We're trying to, manage our relationship, raise kids, do everything. And so it's like, do you have time to go figure out the 60 ingredients on the back of a product? It's like you get a product and you're like, are you going to read every single thing? And then formaldehyde doesn't say formaldehyde. it says like some other word that you're like, I don't know what that means. So then you have to Google that word and be like, what is that? Nobody's going to stand in a store and like research every single ingredient. You're just going to be over it and move on. Right. So we did all that work for you. So we looked up every single ingredient of every single product before we even carry it. When we reach out to a brand. So here's our steps. Like first, I'm always looking for clean brands because it's really hard to find clean brands. Like the most expensive brands out there, they're honestly, most of them are not clean. I would say 95% of them are not clean. You're paying for the name, right? You're not paying for what's in the bottle. You're paying for kind of what it can do. But again, what is it using to do those things? What is it using to achieve those things? So, I've had, like, not to call out thing, but we had this bronzing oil that was like all natural, smelled amazing. And then one of my employees was like, oh my God, I looked up the Tom Ford bronzing oil, which is like, $100 or something. And ours was like 60 and that we were carrying. And she's like, every single thing is a chemical. Look at every single thing. And I was like, yeah, people are buying the name. They weren't buying the fact that it's not that expensive because it's all essential oils and goodness. I mean, hopefully sometimes it is, but you can't trust that. So you have to be in everything in life, even when like we go to a medical, we doctor stuff, you have to be your own advocate. You always have to protect yourself, right? So I know we have to be our own advocate. And, I used to be an attorney before I was a hairstylist, before I owned this company. So I have this like advocacy thing in me. And I tell people too, I'm like, I'm a Cancer. So I'm kind of like this mama bear thing. So I'm like, I want to protect everybody. So as soon as I know something, I'm like, I scream it from the rafters. I'm like, oh my God, stay away from this, stay away from that. Right. So that's why I created this thing, because most people don't know anything about this stuff. So we went and dug deep. We looked up. So when we find a new brand, I'm always like, people, please tell me if there's a brand that you've heard about that's clean, because I'll just be a stalker on like Instagram and I'll see people like, I'm doing a video on this clean hair care line and it's amazing. Watch it. And I'm like, ooh, this line looks really cool. And I'll send it to my team and I'm like, hey, this line looks really cool. They said they're vegan. They say they're plant-based. The logo's rad. The bottling's cool. Like, check it out. Let's see if we can bring it to North Authentic. And then we run the ingredients through our database and they're like, it's dirty. And I'm like, God damn. Like, I get so annoyed because I'm like, please give me an opportunity to make North Authentic like 100 brands, but right now we're like 13 or 14 brands because I simply can't find clean brands. And I mean, we're going to the Netherlands, we're going to Australia, we're going everywhere trying to find brands that are like legit clean. So it's really hard to find ones that are not just, it's called greenwashing, where they, they're like, oh, this is all natural, this is all clean. And it's like, those are just words. Because as soon as you research the ingredients, it's not, right? So it's sad because people are being lied to, right? So they can't just trust not that we could ever trust advertising, right? It's just like you're being advertised to, right? But still, so we find a clean product line. We're like, okay, let's run the ingredients. And we're like, oh my God, it's clean. Okay, yay. Okay, step one is good. So then we're like, we order the product and I'm like, I am still a hairstylist and I'm not going to use a product that doesn't work. So I don't care how clean it is, right? There's stuff that's clean at like Whole Foods and Mother's and all these healthy stores, but it makes your hair look like steel wool. So I'm like, I'm not about to sell that just because it's clean. So we've tried some stuff where we're like, it's clean, but I'm like, we were kind of like my hair's clean, but it's not like, doesn't get me excited. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, it's amazing. So I have to be like, this product is rad. And then we're like, okay. So, and then even if that brand, if like half the products in that brand are clean and work, but some of them don't, I won't carry that stuff. So I don't even carry a brand to completion unless it's clean and each one works. So because I'm also like, some people are, what is it? Like a jack of all trades and a master of none. So, some brands are really good at one thing, right? Yep. So like Olaplex, I love Olaplex. I'm a huge proponent of Olaplex. I'm hoping that they eliminate some of their ingredients by 2023, because we're being really hard and fast about some of our ingredients by then. But they're 4 and 5 shampoo and conditioner. I don't love the way it performs. And it has some known ingredients in it. So we don't carry their shampoo or conditioner. I'm like, you can get everything else from us. You can get the 0, the 3, the 8. As soon as they come out with a new product like the 8, I'm like, let's test it. We're not going to carry it just because we carry Olaplex. I want to make sure that it's clean. And then I want to try it and see if it works. So I always say, I'm loyal to my client, not to the brand, so that's how we even pick out our products. So you already know we've already vetted this thing to death. Like we wanted to make sure it had nothing in it that we're not okay with. And then we tested it and made sure it worked, you know, and I don't have everybody's hair type and neither is my team. So we tested on ourselves. I tested in the salon. Like my clients are always like, ooh, what are you going to use on me today? And I'm like, you're going to tell me what this feels like in 3 days. Like, so even my hair clients are like, it's fun for them. And they're like, ooh, and then they're like, oh, and they'll send me pictures like, oh, this still feels good, blah, blah, you know, or they'll be like, this left like a weird residue. And I'm like, okay, good to know, you know? So we're really, you know, trying it on everybody and trying to make sure it works for whoever is going to use it. And then we actually go into the product page and say, this volumizing shampoo is not for this person. It's for this person. So we try to, even if you don't want to take our quiz and you just want to shop on your own, we try not to inundate you with too much information because then you're like, too many options, I'm dizzy. But we do try to give you the information where it's like, okay, this is a volumizing shampoo and you want volume, but read this because there's 2 types of volume connoisseurs, you know? And so volume connoisseur 1, the shampoo's for, and if you're 2, you're going to hate it, right? So we try to arm you with information because everybody has a graveyard of products under their sink, right? We talked about this last time. It's like you buy a product because you're like, oh, this is going to handle frizz. Like for you were like, I have frizz dry hair. I want to get rid of it. You're like, oh, this is an anti-frizz product. I'll buy it. And you put it on and you're like, I don't really like it, but it's open. I can't return it. So you put it under the sink and you hope at some point you're going to use it again. And then you now have this graveyard of products under your sink, right? That you're like, they're all half used or one time used, right? And they just sit there until you're finally like, okay, I've had this thing for 2 years. I need to throw it away. It's expired, right? So I always say there's so many people making investments every day on hair care products that aren't right for them. And so we try to eliminate that. Like, don't waste any more money. Like, I'm going to tell you what to use, right? So that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish with our quiz.
I mean, this is just so amazing. We need to tell everyone.
I'm just mama bearing everybody.
Because it's like nobody, like you said, I don't want to go to the grocery store. I don't want to read these labels. And even if I tried to read a label, I have no idea what's happening. I have no idea what I'm reading. I don't know what any of these things mean. So I would sit there and have to Google each one. Like nobody wants to do that.
Nobody's going to do that.
Exactly. You guys are.
We did it. We did it. And even when we did it, we were all like, we were like some days, you know, if each of us would be like, you tackle this. Cause we'd be like, I can't work on the ingredients database anymore. Cause like literally I'm dizzy. Like I need to take a break. Like we'd all be like, I'm stepping away for like a couple of days because it was so much work. And to like go and Google and research every single ingredient, every single word that can make, oh my God, no, it took us months, you know, this is not something you're going to stand in the store and be like, oh, it's all right there. It's so easy. I got it.
Exactly.
You know, it's going to take, it took us so long to be like, okay, a horrible ingredient is say like dioxin, you know, which everybody would be like, I don't even know what that is. Right. Yeah. You know, and so then we're like, okay, what are the 50 different things that are considered dioxin? Like a lot of people are like, okay, with silicone, or I don't want silicone because that can leave a gross residue. Right. And that clogs your pores and causes issues with hair growth. So, but there's a million different names for silicone. Like it doesn't say silicone. It's just like dimethicone. And it's just like all these other words. So we created a BART ingredient list so that you could actually go to it and be like, dimethicone is that. But then again, even in our BART ingredient list, as much as I would love someday for you to be able just to type in a word and it just comes up, it's not there yet. You know, it's just a list. So it still would take you a while. But if you were like, okay, dimethicone, let me see if it's anywhere on this list, you'd be able to find it that way. But there's so many words that mean
like I said, words. I wouldn't be able to figure it out on my own. So thank God for you guys.
We did the work. Believe me, you do not want to mimic it and do it yourself. It is time consuming and it's not fun. It is not fun to create an Excel spreadsheet of all that stuff.
Of course. Oh my, no, thank you at all.
It's like, it's not fun, but we're like, it needs to be done. It needs to be done, right? Because if we looked at something again, we'd be like, okay, we don't know what that word is, you know? So it's like, we need to make sure we know what every word is. And then of course, the other thing too, is like we test it that you mentioned is, you know, we love these organizations like the Environmental Working Group and like Think Dirty and stuff. And so, but one thing about them is they look at an ingredient based off the ingredients that are listed. and then they give it a score. Well, there's no government authority that regulates cosmetics, and hair care is considered cosmetics. So like if you used a product, like say I'm going to make a product today and I don't know much about hair care and I'm just going to mix all this stuff in my kitchen and put a label on it and say Natalie's anti-frizz, and I don't test it on anybody and I put it to market and you buy it and this thing makes your scalp burn off and all your hair fall out, there's no government authority that's going to shut me down. The only thing you have is to sue me. And what if I'm just some small mom and pop that like, I don't have any money, right? So it's like, but other things on the market, there's these authorities that regulate it to make sure you cannot put anything on the market that hasn't been tested, isn't safe. Well, that's just not the case with cosmetics. It's kind of nuts. So yeah, so it's like anybody can label anything, right? And so a lot of, unfortunately, it doesn't happen a lot, but you know, I honestly don't know how much it happens, but if you're like, there's formaldehyde in here, but it's like 1 part per billion. Like, it's like so minute amount. Like we don't have any more room. Like it doesn't need to be on here. Like it's so little, it doesn't even count. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say it's so little, it literally doesn't even count. I'm like, it counts. It counts if you're putting 20 products on your skin a day between your shampoo and your detergent and your hair, your skin cream and everything. And they all have that little bit of it in there. And then you do it every day. Like that stuff starts to, you know, it's like when people say it's just a little bit, it's like, yeah, but if everything you use has a little bit and you don't know about it, it starts to compound. And then one day your hormones are out of whack and you're sick and you don't know why. Right. So you know, so the labels aren't regulated to make sure that every single thing in the bottle is on the label. Yeah. So we, again, me being like psycho oversight person, so we created this other level of oversight where we randomly pick 10 products that we carry every year, and we have those tests in the lab to make sure that everything in the bottle is on the label. And our brands know that. So it's kind of also another thing where it's like, no brand's going to want to be carried by us if they're they're legit line, right? So our brands are just like, yeah, go for it, bring it on, right? So they kind of know, and they know that we support them as much as they support us. So it's really like a happy family. We're all trying to change the world together.
I was going to say, you guys are going above and beyond. I mean, like I said, I feel like I'm just so like, how did I not know this before? But thank God for you guys, and you guys taking the time to research and do all of this work. I feel like I'm never going to buy products from anywhere else, just because also you guys give me so much confidence. You know, it's like, I might go, like you said, to the other websites who give a score, but they don't test, they don't go to the extent you guys go to. I feel like you guys really are completely detail oriented to go above and beyond, but it also makes me feel safer. You know, it makes me feel like I'm not going to get sick. I'm not going to keep putting all these chemicals into my scalp if I go to your website, knowing that you guys are so, you know, on top of these brands, making sure that their products are clean and everything. So, I mean, you guys give me the confidence in the world, especially in my hair care, which now I feel like I need to care a lot more about than I was.
Well, it looks amazing. And this is what, you know, I tell everybody too, it's like you vote with your dollars, you know, because it's like, not everybody's going to get together and like try to go push for legislation, even though we're trying to push for legislation all the time to like make there be an authority and make there be bans on certain ingredients. But, you know, things just kind of can tend to move slow when it comes to like legislation and laws being changed and stuff like that. So demand drives supply. So if people are like, I don't want to buy that dirty stuff anymore, I want to buy the clean stuff, then brands are going to be like, I'm going to become like unnecessary. I'm going to cease to exist if I don't fix myself and drop these toxic chemicals, right? So we're always saying like, too, we work with our brands. We're like, hey, you know, we have a brand that we carry all their styling products, but we don't carry any of their shampoos and conditioners because they have ingredients in them that we don't approve of. So we're like, when you clean up your shampoos and conditioners, we'll bring them in. But right now we can't. And they're actually reformulated. And so we're going to be carrying their shampoos and conditioners hopefully by next year, but it takes a long time to reformulate stuff. Like they have to test it, make sure it works. And so, you know, so it's not like you can reformulate and introduce a new product overnight. So we get that. So we give them time and space to do that. We want to support them, but yeah, so if you, but we say like, we will have more muscle to push these brands if the bigger we get, we're like, please shop at Shop North Authentic, because the more you guys shop, I mean, of course it's awesome for us too to grow, but it's also, the big part of it is like, we have muscle. Like now we're like, hey, you're going to lose us if you don't get rid of fragrance. Right. So it's kind of now, where the products are going to be like, okay, we don't want to lose this huge vendor that sells so many of our products, because we don't get our act together and eliminate some of these ingredients that are easily switched out for something else, right? It's so easy to use like a beautiful lavender essential oil or rose water instead of nasty fragrance. So it's just, that is not that hard to just switch that out, you know? So we're like, if we have more muscle and the thought of losing us is going to make them make change, well then, you know, then like, let's, right? So we just say like, you know, you vote with your dollars. So you vote by what you choose, whether it be your hair care, your skin care, your clothes, right? We're all learning more about like fast fashion and sustainability, right? That's another thing I'm so huge about. But yeah, I'm focusing, my blinders are on hair, because I just feel like, you know, I'm going to try to focus on this area, but it, you know, I'm making those changes in every corner of my life.
Yeah.
So,
but all should be doing.
Yeah. Well, we all try, right? I'm like 80-20, right? And, you know, I'm not outside composting all my food as much as it would be great. Like, right. I'm not like, I still, you know, yeah. I mean, if we're making our best efforts, it's like, it's okay if sometimes you're going to be like, I'm going to eat pizza. You know, I'm juicing all week, but then as soon as I'm done juicing, I'm gonna have a slice of pizza, right? So it's like, all right, it's ready. It's time for a martini, right? It's like, it's, you know, we all have our vices, and that's okay. Nobody expects anybody to be perfect and be like, I'm gonna be this organic thing every minute of the day. But you know, it's going to only improve our health if we try as much as possible to eliminate where we can. And hair is easy. It's an easy decision because there's good products out there that are clean.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like you have literally brought me into a whole new world, and I'm so happy about it. This has been so educational, but plus it's like beneficial to me as well.
That's awesome. I'm so happy, Valerie. Well, do you have any specific hair questions at all for me? I know we've been talking about clean stuff the whole time, but do you have any specific hair questions? If not, then we're good. But I just wanted to double check.
Oh my God, of course. Okay, so I was using the scrub cleanser.
Yeah.
In my hair, which I have never used a scrub cleanser before, but I know, okay, so I did it on my whole head, but I know before you said just to use your scalp. Is that only a scalp?
You can do, so yeah, do you have the True Enlightenment scalp scrub or the Solu sea salt scrub?
Salt.
Okay, yeah, that's great. So I would say, you know, you can use it on both, but so I can get it into my scalp. Oh yeah, no, because you get buildup on your scalp and you get like dead skin on it. It's just like when you go for a facial and they always exfoliate your face right before they put on a mask. Yeah. It's because why put on a mask when you have all this like dead skin and your pores are clogged, right? So it's like they exfoliate it first, get rid of all that stuff. So it's the same with your scalp and your hair. So I always take a little bit of the sea salt scrub and I like go in and like put it on all over my scalp. And then I massage my scalp, like try to really get it in. And then I actually start taking the scrub and moving my way down the hair shaft, because I do it gently too. I'm doing the sea salt to kind of, it's exfoliating all the junk off your hair, right? Especially since you've changed hair care lines and you probably had, like you said, some residue and stuff on there from your other product lines. And especially if you go 5 days without washing your hair, which I totally do. I think I'm on like day 6 right now, but you have your products. And if you decide to put a little bit more products, like on day 2, day 3, like that's just start, even if they're clean, it's something, you're putting something on it, right? So, it's not going to have as much as other stuff, but it's still there. And then you have like, we go outside, there's just pollution, elements from the air is landing on our head, right? You know, you have hard water in your shower. Like there's so many minerals and stuff that's in your pipe and your plumbing that comes out your shower. It's all over your skin and your hair, right? So that stuff just starts to build up. So exfoliating it gently off is so good, especially before you do any kind of like a hair treatment, because then it's like, it's going to penetrate, right? It's going to penetrate the cuticle. You're going to get so much more of the yummies from it.
That makes so much more sense, because I think that was the only product that I kind of looked at it and was like, okay, I think this is my scalp.
Right?
I was like, it's a scalp, but now, okay, I'm gonna try that out, because that I mean, now that you say that, I could do the scrub and then the Olaplex, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I tell people like Olaplex you do as a pre-shampoo. So if you want to do it in that, because you do the Olaplex 3 or the 0, you do 0 and 3 if you want to too, or just the 3. You do it before you shampoo and conditioner. It's not a conditioner.
Is it? It's a treatment?
It's like a strengthening treatment.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I always say like Olaplex. Okay, so your hair, I'll make this quick. Your hair is made up of all these bonds, okay? And the bonds give it strength. So it's all these couples. So I drew this diagram and I was trying to teach you. I was like, all these couples in the world, right? So when you put bleach on your hair, hot tool, color, those couples break up. So when you rinse those things off, get the heat away, a lot of couples get back together again, but a lot of them don't. So the more of those things you're doing to your hair, like sun damage and hot tools and blah, 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 the less and less couples are getting back together again. So I say it's like the divorce rate, United States divorce rate. And it's just like a bunch of singletons, and then like wreaking havoc because your hair, when you see somebody, or if your hair's ever been like so dry, like it breaks, like from hair color or something, like somebody bleached your hair and you're like, oh my God. Sometimes people bleach the hair to such an extent that it won't even hold color anymore. Like it's so damaged. Wow. So that's because there are no bonds together anymore. Like your hair has lost all its strength. It won't hold color. It's just, it's dead. So Olaplex is couples counseling. So it puts the couples back together again. So it's not protein, it's not moisture. So you always want to include a moisture treatment in addition to your Olaplex in your hair care regimen. So that's why we probably sent you you probably got a hair moisturizing treatment in addition to your Olaplex. So you get like a building pack.
I would use that.
100%. So if you wanted to, like, say you were like, I haven't washed my hair for 7 days. You normally would put Olaplex, like you'd spray it down with a little bit of water, or you could just put it on dry hair, but it'll last you longer. Right. It'll last you longer if you put it on like a little bit sprayed down with a little bit of water. Okay. So if you say you're on day 6 and you're like, I want to put Olaplex on my hair, but I'm on like day 6, I want to exfoliate first. Like this would be more dramatic, but you would, exfoliate your hair, get it really clean, get out of the shower, towel it dry, put your Olaplex on, leave it on for like your 30 minutes, go to a yoga class, do whatever, spend, half a day in it, throw it up in a bun, and then come back, shower again and shampoo, and then put your moisture treatment on it, or just condition it regular that day. Yeah. That would be like a big day where you're like, okay, I'm not just going to throw Olaplex on my dry hair and then wash it out and condition it. I'm going to actually, because I feel like I have so much stuff on my hair, I want to exfoliate it off before I do my Olaplex. So you could do it like that. But say it's another day where you're like, I haven't washed my hair in 6 days. I don't have time to jump into the shower twice. Then just get in the shower, do the exfoliation, and then throw in your moisture mask, right? And then that is going to be like amazing. You're going to clarify it all off, and then you're also going to get a really yummy moisture treatment. So That's how you would use them both. Yeah. But see, sometimes I'll do it over a 2-day period. So I'll be like, okay, today I'm going to like exfoliate and do my Olaplex, and I'll like run around all day with my Olaplex in my hair, and I'll even sleep in it. And then the next day I'm like, okay, so today I'm going to wash my hair and do the moisture treatment. So because especially right now, I'm like, I just bun it, right? So I'll put it in a braid or whatever. So you could totally do that. You can leave it in as long as you want. If you just got your hair colored, I wouldn't leave it in like an entire day like that, because sometimes it can actually kind of start to pull the toners out. So it might actually kind of strip your hair of some of the color you just did. So I would just leave it on for your 20 to 30 and then rinse it out. But other than that, it's a game changer. The Olaplex. Game changer.
Obsessed. And I think also, I mean, you said the first one's like dramatic, but after receiving all of these products, you get so excited. It's like a new lifestyle. It's like a new world. I'm like, I want all of them. I'm like, this one. I know because I feel like I'm on day 5, so I might try that whole treatment with the Olaplex.
Yeah, for sure. Do it. You'll see a huge difference. Yeah.
Okay, so last question, because I always go back and forth on this. How often should I be washing my hair? Because sometimes I do wait, 5-6 days just because my hair does get dry. But to be honest, if I wash my hair maybe after 2 days, it almost feels healthier. So I don't know if there's like, should I be waiting or should I?
Well, it's 5 or 6 days is fine. I always say like, if you could get away with washing your hair every other to every 3rd day, like that is the best. Yeah. I mean, your hair, if you wash it, I don't know if it's going to feel healthier because you're more likely to blow it out again and style it again, which like when you can go 5 days, you're not putting hot tools on it as much. So it's going to be healthier actually that way. Okay. And it's
maybe just because it feels lighter because it's not so oily maybe.
Well, yeah, by day 4, you've got like your oil, your sweat, like, so of course you're going to be like, it's starting. So I almost my day 5, I'll put my bangs, but then I'll put like a nurse drops on my ends. Cause this is what happens when you're not washing your hair for multiple days is this starts to get really greasy and this starts to look frazzled and dry because you're sleeping on your pillow and it's just like dry and it's just like roughing up your cuticle. Right. So I always put on like some sort of nice, yummy serum on my ends. Ooh. And then dry shampoo on my roots. So like a nurturing drops or, you know, a silk and glow serum, like something on your ends, because that's why these dry conditioners started becoming really popular, right? Yeah. I haven't found a clean dry conditioner, but all it is it's just putting a yummy shine glimmer on your ends. So it's like hydrating your ends again, because you have so much oil coming out of your root, right? So that's the thing that I would do on like day 3, 4, and 5. But 5 is fine. The only time I tell people not to wait that long is if somebody's working out, like they're like, oh, I know I'm supposed to not wash my hair every day, but I work out and I'm super sweaty. Well, if you are sweating a lot, then you should wash your hair. Like you should at least, somebody told me once that they would rinse their hair with water and they would put a little bit of shampoo in their conditioner and put that through their hair and just rinse it out. And that had some cleansing agents. And there's some conditioners with cleansing agents, but not all of them. But that would give them enough to kind of wash out that stuff and condition without doing a full-blown shampoo and conditioner. I know that most of the time people don't shampoo for that many days because they don't want to wet their hair. They don't want to have to redo their hair. But this is for someone who's just like, I know it's not healthy to shampoo my hair every day. So this is how I'm going to get past it. Because sweat, the glands that create sweat near your hair follicles are also glands that collect and like distribute bacteria out of your body. So if that bacteria heavy sweat is sitting on your scalp and it has nowhere to go for multiple days, then it can start to cause like a fungal infection, right? So and it's salt. You know, people, I noticed this with a friend, and then it happened to me too, is when somebody's like a major hot yogi, their hair starts to look like a brittle, broken. It just looks so hard and brittle and fried. And it's because you're sitting in this room that's not only dripping with your sweat, but if you look at those mirrors in there, like you can't even see the mirror by like 40 minutes. All those people's sweat and all that moisture in the air is also, you're having everybody's sweat on your hair. So if you're like, I don't want to, I'm just going to go and not wash my hair, like that is salt. Your sweat is mostly made of salt, right? Yeah. So it's just like you're swimming in the ocean every day. Like how good would your hair feel? So you have to make sure you're rinsing all that salt out of your hair. You're doing high moisture treatments because salt is very dry. So if you're somebody who sweats a lot, rinse the sweat out, just get it out. And then if you're like, I'm going to work out before I go to work, I can't wash that day and I'm going to maybe wash the next day, that's no problem. But use a dry shampoo like the one we sent you, which is Oway, I think, Plant and Mineral Refresh. So you want to get a dry shampoo that actually cleans your hair. There's a lot of dry shampoos out there that it's just like a film that kind of covers up all that stuff. So you can feel it too. It feels like a weird residue on some dry shampoos. And we're saying they were starting to experience hair loss with some dry shampoo brands. Wow. Well, why? Because it didn't clean the hair. It just sat on top of it. So it like almost trapped the sweat, the oil, the dirt, and then this heavy toxic product on your scalp. And then if you used it for 3 or 4 or 5 days, your follicle like can't breathe. It can't get any moisture. So it's starting to clog your follicles. And then your follicles, they're at the stage of setting healthy hair growth. So people were starting to lose their hair and see thinning. So you need a clean dry shampoo that actually, like this dry shampoo, it's a loose powder. You sprinkle it on your scalp. It like absorbs the oil, the dirt, the sweat, and all that stuff. And then when you shake it out, it kind of falls and takes it with it. So you want to get a dry shampoo that legitimately cleans the hair if you're going to go multiple days when you are working out and sweating, opposed to something that's just going to cover it up and just wreak havoc on your scalp. So
I'm obsessed. I used it. You told me you use a little bit every day, and I do.
It does, because it just creates body too. You're like, even if it's not dirty, you're like, oh my God, it just gives me body. Like it just
100%, because I feel like this always gets super oily and it like pats down.
For
So
sure.
oh my God, I'm always trying to, you know, push it up, but this just gave it so much body. I put a little bit before this and I was like, wow.
It looks so pretty. Wow. I know. And it doesn't have that weird cakey residue-y feel that like a lot of people hate dry shampoos, or like, I don't like dry shampoos. And I'm like, just give me a second. Just try this powder. Yeah, it's a totally different world. It's a totally different product. So yeah. Awesome. I'm so happy you're loving
it. I feel like my whole life has changed. I have a new hair care regimen, and I feel like I just have so much confidence. I don't have to worry about anything. I just have to go to your website and I'm good.
That means so much to me. Thank you so much. That's awesome. It's been so good to chat with you. And I'm glad we nipped 2 questions in the bud. And yeah, if you have any more questions, you know, you can always reach out to me. I'm always here. I've even like, you know, people write in and ask questions and I'm like, I'm going to jump in on here and I'm just going to answer it for them, you know? So it's so funny. People are like, what face stuff should I use? And I'm like, you know, there's better people than me to answer that. Like, I wish I could answer every one of your questions. I have people that are like, can you do like a Natalie seal of approval on everything, like dishwashing detergent? And I'm like, oh my God, maybe someday. But like right now, I'm focusing on
I was going to say that earlier. Like, I need your like phone numbers. Like, hey.
Right? Can you just look at this? Can you just look at that for me? And I'm like, I know. Sometimes I do it. Sometimes somebody's like, I'm desperate. And I'm like, let me just take a product and let me throw it into the database and I'll tell you if it's clean or not. I mean, I can't do that for everybody. I don't want to say that. Yeah, because people are going to start emailing me like, can you check this? And I'm like, oh my God, I do this all day. But yeah, I've done it for a few people. And some things I've been like, you know, this product is clean, you know? And then, but then I tried some stuff and I'm like, doesn't get me excited. So we don't carry it. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, but just go to the BART ingredient list and has all the information you need. So if you have time to read through it. So,
I mean, this has been so educational.
Good.
I'm so glad we connected.
I know, me too.
Like I was lost and now I'm found.
That's awesome. We found you. We're here. We're here for you. Well, it's been so great to talk to you, and thank you so much. And have a great night. And I hope your followers, you know, get a lot from this too, and they start incorporating some clean ingredients into their lives.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.